Hello bass family, and welcome to Everything Bass. First off, hey, new digs. I've been frustrated since starting the channel because I was recording in a very big room, and when I switched over to my ADK Hamburg mic to give hopefully a clearer and better vocal recording, it was picking up too much of my cabinet. So what happened is I ended up having to turn down my rig. I isolated it, but it became very hard to listen to and hear, and so my performances suffered, and I hated that. So I moved to a smaller room and kind of set up some different things. I'm going to go direct, hence the headphones, and that allow me to, in real time, make sure that I'm giving you the best recordings possible. So today we're moving on, and you know, if you find yourself getting bored with your own licks, and I think every musician, I shouldn't say that. Most musicians will admit that, yeah, man, I'm tired. I'm always playing the same thing. And in preparation for one of my jazz videos, I wanted to introduce a scale, which is the fourth mode of melodic minor, which is Lydian flat 7. This is a scale I like to use when I play over dominant chords, especially dominant chords that don't resolve to the 1. But in any time, you can play with it, and it adds a little spice and can freshen up, maybe give you some new ideas, create new sounds. So let's go through first of all what it is. Now, if you are a Patreon subscriber, you can download the chart and be able to see the neck diagram written out if you're a visual learner like that. No problem, the link will be in the description below. But let's go through what it is. Well, the name actually, if you've studied your church modes, Lydian flat 7 tells you what it is. It's a Lydian scale, but you flat the 7. And let's go over that real quickly. And we're going to start with C. We seem to always start with C. So you start by playing the root, the major second, the major third. Then you play an augmented fourth, and you play the perfect fifth, the major 6, and here's the flat 7, the minor 7, and the octave. Now if we compare that to Lydian, here's Lydian, which has a major 7. So if we play Lydian but play it with a minor 7, we get this sound. So why does it work well over dominant chords? Well, one reason, if you look at the arpeggio, which remember, any scale, if you find where the first, third, fifth, and seventh notes are, you can actually see what chord it would match up well with. Here we have a root, major third, perfect fifth, and a minor 7 because of the Lydian flat 7. So that's the dominant 7 arpeggio. That explains why it works so well over dominant chords. All right, so why do I like this? Why does it you know, appeal to me and help me freshen up my bass playing, and I know it can do for you? Well, it comes to having that augmented fourth. So in the C, the Lydian flat 7, that's a F sharp. I love to play against that augmented fourth, moving up to the perfect fifth. So it's unresolved resolve, which is the same if you compare it to the blues scale. There's also that half step movement from below the fifth to the fifth. Now we have it in this scale. So it really adds a bit of spice and kind of I don't know, a bluesy element to already a bluesy chord. And you might find yourself when you play Mixolydian, which remember Mixolydian looks like this, has a perfect fourth. So some people could think of it as a Mixolydian sharp 4 as the Lydian flat 7, but that 4, that F natural can be in a void tone, a real avoid tone, a tone you want to kind of blow by, not really hang on, because again, it's a fourth above the root, half step away from the major third. It can create a lot of confusion in your bass line or melody. So here it's gone, and now you've got this beautiful color tone which really moves perfectly to the perfect fifth. Now some people say, well, can't you move it down to the major third? Of course you can. A major second movement is also really good. So you know, I want you to really kind of experiment with this, kind of come up with it. So I'll create a one chord dominant chord vamp for you to play along with, and you know, and see how it fits into your playing, see what you come up with it. Now, some people have asked, well, can I base my idea, either my bass line or my melody, on Mixolydian over the dominant chord and then just evolve it to using Lydian flat 7? Absolutely, that's a brilliant idea. You know, playing maybe by passing through the perfect fourth a couple times, then as you want to create new tension or take your solo or bass line into a new area, maybe from a verse to a chorus, yeah, absolutely. You know, transform into the Lydian flat 7 and play off of that augmented fourth. I love this scale a lot, and I think it's a valuable scale to know. And of all the melodic minor modes, it's one of the ones that I actually, you know, use quite a bit, and not limited by genre. I've used it in everything. So try it out. Throw it into your you know, improving. Again, if you're a Patreon subscriber, I'll put a wave file with some kind of one chord dominant vamp that you can practice to. Or just if you have your own sequencer or looper, just, you know, establish a simple one chord dominant seventh chord vamp. Whatever the root of the dominant seventh chord you're jamming over, make that the root of the Lydian flat 7. Now, one thing you may want to do to get really used to it is don't start just by ripping. Play some, you know, maybe do it as a slower thing than my demo. Put more of a ballad thing and play through the modes, you know, really slowly, and just kind of feel where every tone, what it makes you feel against that chord. Not as valuable when you play it without a backing track, because we're really training our ears to hear the chord, hear what we play, and come up with some kind of relationship. Ooh, that's tense. I don't want to stay there. Oh, this is really restful and resolved. Oh, this is funky. I like this. You know, I like these two notes together. These are things that really, technically, they could be taught, but they're best if they're discovered by yourself. You know, just improvising, playing through a scale, being patient, listen. Don't let a lot of distractions, like don't practice this while you have the TV on or anything like that. Because you got to be able to focus on what you're creating, what the resulting effect is. How does it sound? How does this scale sound used against this chord? All right. I hope you dig this. You know, I'll be feeding you more and more of these, like how I use this scale, why this scale is important to me, and I'm hoping it's a catalyst for conversation. If you're someone who's known the Lydian flat 7 before, and maybe you can give us like tracks that you've listened to where you like the soloist. And it doesn't have to be a bass player. You know uses Lydian flat 7. Maybe it's one of your own recordings you can give us a link to so we can hear it. Whatever it is, just I'd love to see what you guys are doing with it. If you're new to the Lydian flat 7 and you tried it and maybe for some reason it didn't end up sounding very good, let me know. You know, we can usually drill down and see, like, were you not like resolving to chord tones. You know, there's a couple things we can troubleshoot to see, and ultimately it just might not be your sound, and that's totally cool too. Every musician doesn't have to love every scale. All right, so yeah, communicate with me in the comments below. I'd love to get your opinions and hear your comments on what's going on. There'll be more of these kind of how to apply or how I use these scales against certain situations. It's not the end all be all. There's other times when you could use this mode. But remember, the theme of this channel is one topic, one instance, something you could, a small little piece of information that you can really focus on, nail, and then add to your playing and move on. And that's what we're trying to do. All right, man, thank you so much for stopping by. Being able to spend these weekends talking to my bass brothers and sisters means so much to me. I really appreciate it. I appreciate my Patreon supporters. Thank you so much. Your money actually helped create this and finance this move, so I really appreciate that. Yeah, so guys, like, share, subscribe, please do all those things. This is part, you know, this is in part your channel too, so please help me promote it. Let's get more bass players involved. Let's get the conversations bigger, and I will try to keep adding content that will stimulate conversation. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.